Hi, and welcome to Barrio Tirelon. Today we talk about an incident that took place in the city of Houston, Texas, in September of 1944 on Houston's East End. A gang of Pachucos led by an unknown girl simply known as the Black Ora attacked and knifed a young girl and her companion while getting off a Harrisburg bus. The Houston Press newspaper says that there are two sides to the story. The victims claimed that it was unprovoked. The gang said it was because the girl told them to go back to Mexico. But then there's a third side, the witnesses. They claim that both sides were egging each other on. Here is the story as told by the witnesses, and also in the local newspaper, the Houston Press. The headline in the newspaper reads, "Gang slashes girl, beats her escort." Attacked by a Latin American gang, including girls, pretty 18-year-old Martha Jolly of 516 Eastwood was slashed across the ears and back and badly beaten, and her escort, J.E. Gerald, 25, a war veteran who received a medical discharge because of shrapnel wounds received while in the Navy, also was beaten shortly after midnight Friday. The couple were innocent bystanders in a quarrel between the gang of Latin Americans and other youths on a bus, culminating in the attack at Harrisburg and Eastwood. The bus passengers, including men, piled off the bus while the attack was taking place, according to Miss Jolly, merely stood around watching, failing to come to the aid of the victims. A girl named Black Ora is accused of being leader of the gang and the one who actually slashed Miss Jolly. The Latin American girls and one boy are held, and two other boys are being sought by the police Latin American squad. The affair started according to homicide officers B. Porter and K.M. Moore when 5 boys and girls boarded a Harrisburg bus downtown. A Latin American girl whistled at a sailor in the other party, and both groups began exchanging insults and catcalls. Neither Miss Jolly nor Mr. Gerald took part in the exchanges, according to witnesses. Then the couple started to get off of the bus. An unidentified youth got off the bus with them at the same time, daring the Latin American youths to get off with him. They accepted the challenge, poured off the bus, but the youth who had issued the dare disappeared, leaving Miss Jolly and her escort to face the wrath of the gang of 5 girls and 3 boys. The attack was aimed first at Miss Jolly. She was hit several times, and then while 2 boys slashed at her throat. She missed a vital point but cut the victim's face and back badly. Mr. Gerald, meantime, was in a tussle with other members of the gang. Miss Jolly was knocked down and kicked, and Mr. Gerald severely mauled. After Miss Jolly was cut, she said the girl who had attacked her calmly wiped the knife off, folded it up, and handed it to a tall youth and disappeared. Another woman who had got off the bus at the same time was kicked in the stomach by the gang members, Miss Jolly declared. Her name was not learned. Miss Jolly lost a valuable diamond dinner ring during the affray. The couple was taken to Jefferson Davis Hospital, where they were treated and later released. Later reports tell the same story, but differently. One report said, 2 teenage Latin American girls and a boy were sentenced to 60 days in county jail by Judge Ali Payton late Friday when convicted of participating in a gang attack, which resulted in the cutting and beating of an 18-year-old blonde and her companion. As the 3 went to jail, 5 others who participated in the attack were free at home because as juveniles under 17, they cannot be prosecuted in the courts. Among these 5 is a girl known as Black Ora, who, according to testimony and police investigations, did the actual cutting which left an ugly scar on the face of pretty Martha Jolly, 18, of 516 Eastwood. Probation officers who investigated released the 5 to their parents and said, "We are checking each child's individual record before acting further." The juveniles under the law could be sent to reform schools. Those sentenced on Friday are Lena Hernandez, 19, cashier at a large department store, Delia Gonzalez, 18, former band leader at Sam Houston High School, and Frankie Cantu, 18. District Attorney A.C. Winburn headed the prosecution, believed the first time a district attorney has prosecuted a case in count court at law in Harris County. These outrageous gang attacks in Houston must come to a stop, and there is no better way to accomplish that than by showing these young hoodlums we mean business, by sending them to jail, Mr. Winburn said. Another post said, John Herrera, attorney for the defense, submitted a motion for a new trial and said he would file an appeal if the motion is denied by Judge Payton. While my clients must go to jail because they were at the scene, The girls who actually did the cutting is free to go her way and get into trouble again because juvenile authorities won't do anything, Mr. Herrera complained. Miss Jolly told how the Latin American boys and girls had been arguing on a Harrisburg bus, and that because she had looked back at them, when they cursed, they followed her from the bus at Harrisburg and attacked her. 4 of the girls held me while Black Ora started slashing me with a knife, Miss Jolly testified. Then they knocked me down and kicked me in the stomach and face until I lost consciousness. While the girls attacked Miss Jolly, 3 Latin American boys held her companion, J.E. Gerald, a survivor of the original cruiser Houston, which was sunk early in the war. Gerald broke loose and fought the trio until police arrived, he testified. The defense contended the fight started after Miss Jolly, while on the bus turned to the arguing group and said, "Why don't you Mexicans go back to Mexico where you belong?" Thank you for listening to this story. What do you think? The articles were taken from a Houston Press September 15, 1944, from pages 1 and 19, and from September 23, 1944, pages 1 and 2.